Hey guys, it's Lindsey. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm just going to kind of reflect back on the last year since having my weight loss surgery. But before we get into it, you guys know the drill. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Also, if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. And now let's get into it. So yeah, I am now 13 months post-op. I had my vertical sleeve gastrectomy, or my weight loss surgery, on June 17th, 2019. Today, I think, is July 27th, 2020, so just about 13 months out. And in that time frame, I have lost 102 pounds. I have been sitting very steadily at the 102 pound mark for a long time now. Since my last update, my 12-month update, I have not lost any extra weight, which is a little unfortunate because ultimately, as I've said, my ultimate weight goal would be 125 pounds. I'm currently sitting at 134, 135. So just 10 pounds off, and I am really happy for the most part with where I'm at right now. But you know, there is that little, voice inside my head that wants to get to 125. If I never get there, that's fine. I'm like I said, I'm very happy with where I'm at. My doctor is very pleased with the progress that I've made. It just, I don't know, I just don't totally understand why I haven't lost any weight in such a long time. Yeah, I've gone through stalls before, but this one does feel different. It's definitely the longest stall that I've ever gone on. And I don't know that I want to switch up my eating habits to knock off that last 10 pounds because I think if I were to do that for a little bit, kind of go on a crash diet kind of thing, and then, worked back up to how I'm eating right now, all that weight would just like pile back on. So I don't want to do that. So if my body is done, it's done, and that's fine. But today I just kind of wanted to reflect on some things that I've learned about myself and about the whole process since having my sleeve, because I have learned a lot in the last year, and I'm going to continue to learn a lot about myself and about this whole process for many, many years to come, because the main thing is this is a lifelong commitment. I signed up for this for life. It's not you sign up for it and you throw caution to the wind and just kind of see what happens. You really, should stick to what your doctor tells you and follow the protocol, because you put your body through a lot. Most people have to go on a liquid diet for at least 2 weeks beforehand, and then you get your body sliced open. You get a part of you completely removed, at least in the case of a gastric sleeve. Bypass and duodenal switches are a little bit different, but same kind of concept. And then you have to go through the recovery process and learn kind of how to eat again. And you're eating very, very oddly for the first few months. So you put your body through a lot. So because of that, I do personally feel that you need to make this a lifelong commitment and really know that if this is something that you're interested in doing, that you can't just go ahead and eat whatever you wanted to eat before. You technically can, especially at a year out. I could really probably go ahead and start eating whatever I wanted. And I'm really, really trying to not do that anytime soon. But I think, to be successful, you really need to follow what your doctor says as much as you can. And one of the things that I've learned about myself is that I'm very good about following the direction, and I guess just how determined I was to make this work. And again, this is only 1 year out. I've got many, many more years to go. But so far, I have really, really stayed very consistent with what I've been eating. My diet is very repetitive, and I'm fine with that. I got this surgery because my blood pressure was so high, and I was on 3 blood pressure medications, and I was just so unhealthy, and I was really unhappy with what I looked like as well. And so I want to make the most of this. I don't ever want to have to go back on blood pressure medication if I don't have to. Of course, if I end up needing it at one point, then I will go on it regardless of what I weigh. But if there's something that I can do to prevent that, I really, really want to try and stick to it the best that I can. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned about myself is that food doesn't have to control me anymore. I feel for a long time, and I know I'm not the only one that feels this way or that had felt this way, that food really did control a large part of my life. I was constantly thinking about, if we would go to a specific restaurant, like in 2 weeks, I was like so excited to get this one kind of meal, or if I was going to go to the grocery store, I was so excited to pick up my favorite kind of chips and, different birthday cakes that I was going to be making. And just, I was thinking about food a lot. I've realized that. And not that I don't think about food now, and not that I'm not eating now. I want to make that very clear that I do eat. Of course I eat. I eat between like 11 and 1,200 calories a day, which is approved by my doctor. He thinks that's fine, so there's no issue there. I am eating. It's not that I don't eat. but my life is just not totally consumed by food. And I have talked about in some of my previous updates how sometimes in the afternoon I do kind of get a little preoccupied about wanting to eat. But I've been good about that. I have kind of figured out ways to manage those kind of feelings while still eating, but not going overboard, which is really important to me because I do feel as well that I used to eat way too much. It was not just a little nibble, it was a huge bite kind of thing. So I've learned that about myself, that I can stay strong. I can be a very determined person if I'm given the right tools, like weight loss surgery, to allow me to live this new lifestyle and be successful at it. And then another thing that I've learned kind of going along with food is that being around food that I don't eat anymore doesn't bother me at all. I could be surrounded by pizza and cake and cookies and all that yummy stuff that I used to eat, and I am not tempted by that. And that is really, really mind-blowing to me because I used to, of course, love all that stuff. Anyone who's thinking of weight loss surgery loves all that kind of stuff, right? But just tonight for dinner, my kids and I made a DIY pizza kit from a local restaurant. And, we rolled out the dough, we put all the sauce on, the cheese, and all of the pepperonis and stuff when we baked it. And it was so fun doing that with my kids, and it smelled delicious. Oh, it smelled so good, but I didn't eat it. I made something else for myself that was a lot more bariatric friendly, and that's fine. And even after dinner, when I was cleaning up, my kids had not finished the pizza. My husband was actually working late tonight, so he wasn't home for dinner. And I just very happily put all the rest of the pizza in the fridge so that my husband can have it. There was not even a single thought in my head of, should I eat the pizza? Should I just have a little bite? There was no thought of that. That's just not on my radar at all. And last week was my husband's birthday. We made a beautiful cake for him. Well, beautiful. It smelled really, really good, and it looked really, really good. It was a new kind of birthday cake we had never tried before. It was the King Arthur flour gluten-free cake. We are a gluten-free family, but it looked and smelled so, so good. And again, I happily made it, served it to my husband, cut it all up for everybody, and the thought of eating a piece of cake did not even cross my mind. And I think some people might think that that's sad, but for me, it's just freeing and liberating, and I love that I can be around those foods that I used to eat a ton of and not even think about eating at all. It is not, to me, a sad existence at all. It's a very happy and very freeing existence. And I know, especially if you haven't gone through this journey, that sounds super strange. And believe me, before I had gone through this, I would have thought that it was strange as well. But I don't know. It's just how I live. I'm not tempted by those kind of things anymore. And I think in one of my last videos that I mentioned breaking the seal, and I am still terrified of that. But the seal of not eating those kind of things is very, very closed, and I have not broken the seal yet. So I'm still perfectly healthy, just, saying no. It's not even a thought in my mind really. But if I were to have a bite of cake, that's where I, maybe don't think that I would have enough determination and self-control to say no. So hopefully we never get to there where I start eating the things again, but this is of course a lifelong journey. I can't sit here and tell you that I'm not ever going to have a regular pizza again or a piece of cake again in my life. But for now, I haven't, and I'm very thankful that I don't feel like I need to. And then another thing that I've learned is that weight loss surgery is not a quick fix. For some things it can be though. For people that have had diabetes, going into the hospital, if you're on diabetic medication before your surgery, you can leave the hospital the next day without needing your medication anymore. I've seen that happen. I've heard about that happening quite a few times, and that's amazing. And then as far as my blood pressure medication goes, I was off of it within 1 week of my surgery, which was amazing. I'm so happy that I don't have to be on blood pressure medication right now. But as far as aches and pains and stuff, it has not, at least for me, been a quick fix. I have a lot of issues with my feet. My feet are very flat, which is of course not something that any kind of weight loss surgery or losing weight anyway would be able to correct. But I also have heel spurs and plantar fasciitis. So I have a lot of pain in my foot. And I did notice when I was heavier and I had tried to lose weight before that it was worse, and it did get slightly better after I lost weight. But now losing 100 pounds, I was really thinking that my feet problems would just be gone. And unfortunately, that is not the case. It has gotten better, but I definitely still feel my heel spur. My plantar fasciitis has acted up from time to time. not as bad, but like I said, it is still there. So that was not the quick fix that I was kind of thinking and hoping that it was. You know, it is what it is. I just wear my comfy shoes and I'm all good. And then it's just not a quick fix for weight loss. You know, you really do have to work it. I think I've said this on my Instagram. For weight loss surgery to work for you, you have to work it. You can't just rip out your stomach and go on your merry way and expect to just completely lose the weight. You have to work it. You have to follow your plan, eat your protein, drink your water, don't give in to all of the stuff. Like I said, I've been really good about not doing that, but you really should not, you know, just go ahead and, you know, eat whatever you want if you want to be successful with this. I think that's just another thing that I've learned, and just, you know, through my different doctor's visits and stuff, has just really kind of been ingrained in my brain that I need to follow this specific plan, because weight loss surgery alone is not going to keep me at a healthy weight. I need to follow the proper protocol and eat properly to be able to maintain where I'm at. And one thing that I have not learned though in the last year is loving exercise. I just don't. I have tried, and I kind of go through spurts while I'll be really good at doing some exercises, and then I'll go through spurts where I really just don't do it hardly at all. I just don't love exercise. I never have. I was really kind of hoping that this journey would make me love it, and it just hasn't at this point. And of course, now that we're in quarantine and stuff, you can't go to the gym, and my husband was a member of a gym and I went with him a few times, but really that's not a good excuse for me because I was doing a lot of at-home workouts. Though by the time my kids were in bed, because they were both home every single day for so long, you know, I was just really, really wiped out by the end of the day. So I really had no motivation to do it. So that is something that I'm still searching for, is my motivation to continue to work out, because I just haven't found it. And I would love to find it. I would love to be able to say that I am, you know, an exercise fanatic and I exercise every single day, or, you know, 4 or 5 times a week. And that's just not something that has happened. And I do really, really need to get back on some sort of exercise routine, but it just hasn't happened quite yet. But I think that's pretty much everything that I've learned within the last year or so. I don't regret this decision one bit. It is something that I do think about, and it is a really, really big part of me. Like, I think about, you know, having my sleeve and being a weight loss surgery patient constantly. It is really something that does kind of control my brain, but I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, like I said, I'm still eating, but it's just really a big, huge part of me. And I love how far I've come in this journey. I do think at this point I can call myself a success story. Next year, who knows? 5 years from now, who knows? But for right now, I'm just chugging along. I'm really, really happy. Sometimes I pinch myself because I just can't believe how far I've come. And like I said, I'm just so proud of myself. You know, you really do learn a lot about yourself and what you are capable of and what you're willing to do after you decide to do this journey. And if you are someone who is looking at this and thinking about doing weight loss surgery, I would definitely encourage you to go and talk with a surgeon. Many surgeons have different seminars. They're probably going to be mostly through Zoom now, but just kind of a little introductory seminar so you can learn a little bit more about it and a little bit more about their practice. And if it's something that you are interested in, go for it. Just go and talk with a surgeon. You know, it's no obligation or anything to do that. And if you decide that it's not for you, that's perfectly fine. It really is a very, you know, strict lifestyle, but it's so freeing at the same time. At least for me, it has been, because my brain is not controlled by food so much anymore, which is just an amazing feeling. But if you are, like I said, contemplating it, thinking about it, go ahead and look into it. Because it's just been the absolute best thing that I could have ever done for myself. I'm so happy every single day. It has just been the absolute best. But I think that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Feel free to subscribe to my channel down below so you don't miss any of my future uploads. We can also connect on Instagram. I will also have that link in the description box below. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!